21,
Welcome.
2021, 2021. Osama,
Was good, buddy.
I think with the new year, new goals, new resolutions, new everything.
Mohammed,
Based from last year, I think it's time to give the people what they want, only more, better, and just on a different level. What do you think?
it's listen, man. As you said yourself, it's 2021. Time to go harder, faster. Improvements coming, guys. Listen, with- it's funny. It's funny that she said that, right? Because for the longest time, we've been getting so much heat for not putting out content. And if you've been paying attention to our social media accounts, our time is now.
The time is now, and people, welcome back to another episode of Ways, your favorite podcast. If this is your first time listening to us, welcome to the show. My name is Mohammed. I'm here with Osama. Make sure to listen to us every week. We're dropping new episodes and with guests as well. You can follow us on IG at Waste 2.0. That's our Instagram page on IG at Waste 2.0. You can follow Osama at his personal page at Kusa300. And my personal page is Mohammed.global. Make sure to hit us up if you have any content, want to come on the show, any advice whatsoever. We don't care what we don't care as far as you guys are going through. Obviously, we do care what you guys are going through, but if there's certain things that you want advice, you want to talk about on the show, please let us know. And with
um,
this year, to be honest, we really, really want to make sure there's a special year for you guys. All right.
Exactly. I just want to add on with a few things. So before we get on to the topic, a lot of you might have seen, I kind of already, well, actually, if you're hearing this right now, obviously, but this would come out. Actually, I should say the updates because regardless, when you do hear it, it's going
Yep.
to be only updates anyways. So as you guys know, we will no longer be posting on Mondays anymore. Going forward, we believe we want to be posting on Wednesdays, kind of like a Ways Wednesdays kind of thing. So the first episode, which will be dropped January 13th, 2021. Also, as I think we mentioned this on our Instagram live before, is that we'll be having two female guests, Olivia Pearl and Zara. What's Zara's last name?
Her last name is to be disclosed.
Interesting.
I,
Anyways,
I know her last name. I rather let her announce it. To be honest.
all right, that's fine. That's fine. I respect that. But anyways, it'll be Olivia and Zara. I know we did promise you three. However, at the moment, we want two. We believe those two are going to be great in terms of increasing our female audience, and they have and Olivia and being there twice on our show had increased that, and we had a lot of great reviews. Also, if you've noticed, we've been much more active on our social media platforms. So we have Twitter now. We're engaged on Twitter. We're engaged on LinkedIn. Guys, we genuinely want you guys to give us hardcore feedback. Like me and Mohammed at this point, we don't care if it's like if you tell us it's bad, don't just say it's bad. Tell us why it's bad and what we can improve on. Because for us, we're going 10 times as hard. Also, some new exciting news. The last episode that we dropped, we were at 9 countries. We're excited to say that we're in 11 countries now. Two new additions, Denmark and Netherlands.
Bless up.
Bless up. And you know what the crazy, bro, is we didn't post anything for almost a month.
Yeah, nothing for a month, almost for a month. Obviously, because of the holiday break, and yeah, that's the beautiful thing about life. Things happen when you least expect it. So the fact that we get two new countries only shows how beautiful this platform is. There's no one better to do it with, and we're just excited to just elevate the name ways in this year. And to be
Elevate.
honest, and to be honest, this is going to be a very, very fun year, despite what you might think.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Muhammad hit like the nail. He hit the hammer on the nail. Is that the saying? I have no idea. Anyways,
I think so. Yeah.
I want so basically, let's dive into our topic. So if you haven't checked out our Instagram, I basically posted a teaser, and the topic episode 48 is going to be out. Is going to be about New Year, New Me, how to tackle 2021. We believe that we believe with 2020 done and gone that obviously people had their lot of ups and downs. And me, Muhammad, thought what a great way to start our podcast with how to tackle 2021. What's to look out for? Obviously, we can even give you some personal advice. So this is gonna be an open conversation, probably a personal one as well. But Muhammad, take it on.
Thank you. So this year, 2021, is a year full of unexpected things. And obviously, what happened at Capitol, we'll definitely talk about that in another episode. But so far, the year has been
Crazy,
a
by the way.
year. Yeah, it's insane. Insane, unfortunate. And thank God someone finally picked up the phone. African, anyone that's African living in an African household, you just know it. There's just 100,000 things going on at the same time, so you just
It's
know.
it's it's business calls. They do
Yeah,
business calls, bro.
you just bear with it. But like I was
That's how you
saying,
know people want to be on Waze.
I know the unexpected, bro. That's what happens. But yeah, like I was saying, 2021, people are expecting it to really be a sequel to 2020 because obviously it was the first year when the unexpected became normal. And people feel as if so far within the first 2 weeks, we're kind of seeing the exact same thing from the year before. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, it's one thing to think of that, obviously, because we haven't seen these events in our lives before. But,
Yeah.
Osama, if you take yourself and put yourself in the situation and in the eyes of someone who's actually going through that on a daily basis, I remember you saying this last year. You're like, why are people complaining about the hardness and just how, I guess, how cruel COVID is while there's people in Palestine and people in Somalia and all these refugees are going through
Yeah.
things probably even worse
Yeah.
throughout their whole life for 16 years or 20 years or even 50 years. But for us,
Yeah.
with the first year of dealing, just being inside, we're acting as if the world's over, right? So when you said that,
Hmm.
it definitely clicked right now. So that's one thing.
Yeah. You know what's funny too, bro, is like me and you have always had personal conversation outside of our podcast, right? I think what makes our podcast so strong is that we're able to be as transparent as we are in reality,
Mhm.
obviously on our platform, right? And you said something that really captivated me, right? So, guys, listen, I want to take you back to 2020. Obviously, coronavirus, a lot of stuff went down during 2020. However, I've always hated the term New Year's resolution, New Year me, New Year, new me. I've always hated the fact that 2021 is my year. I feel every year should be your year because to me, if you don't have that mindset, if you say, okay, 2021 is my year, that means you're saying only this year is your year. That means when next year comes, it's like you're playing dice at this point. Like, is it my year or not? No, you
Dice,
should go
damn.
tackle it. Every year should be your year. And you know what? Also, what I realized, dude, is like now, like because I want to say we're 10, like I don't want to say we're 10 times more serious, but obviously we're on a new level. Me and you have already spoken about different stuff that we want to do going forward. And yes, Corona's still here. It's affected a lot of me and Muhammad's plans, but that's not going to stop us from going and finding loopholes to do stuff. No, guys, don't play dice with your life. This is like it sounds cringy to say, but
Can
dude,
you say it one more time?
yeah, don't play dice with your life. It's just facts. Like
Message.
stop announcing, stop announcing stuff. You know, one of the best advice you've given me, bro, honestly. And I know it's cliche to say, and it's funny just because I used to always roast you for it. But Muhammad would always tell me is like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what to expect, right? So with that analogy that Muhammad always tell me, right? So think of every year, you don't know what to accept. It's up to you to determine what you want to do with your life.
Hmm.
It's up to you. Like, okay, new year, new me. What does that mean to you? When you tell yourself, it's funny that we're talking about this because I know yesterday, one of my family friends wanted me to help him with his school, like he's applying to his first internship, right? And we started having a conversation. He was talking about motivation. He's like, my car is my motivation. I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there. That's BS. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, your car should never be your motivation. I told him your motivation should be something that's intangible, something you cannot see. For example,
Mm.
5 years from now, if I ask Mohammed 5 years from now, I guarantee me and him will have the same goals because we know we want to take ways. But if you tell me, oh, my car is my motivation, what if one day you wake up you have no car? Where does that motivation go? You have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent. I feel like I don't know what the stress. And it's funny because I still see people complaining,
Of course. Of course. Of
which
course.
is sad. Which is sad, which is sad, bro. Like, what? So let me ask you a question, Mama, because obviously you're a deep person. You're like a hardworking person. I like you. Obviously, are volunteering. You're
Mr.
working. You
Aaron's.
help out your family, Mr. Aaron. But here's one thing. What keeps you disciplined and consistent every single day?
Okay, ask that question one more time.
What keeps you disciplined and consistent every single day?
Whew. Number one, being grounded. So that's it. Being grounded. Like you have to be grounded. So obviously, what's a better way of saying that? Just like keeping yourself humble, reserved, and knowing that what you're living for is beyond your ego. And what you're living for is beyond the expectations of what you want in this life, right? So, number one, just
Damn.
having that focus embedded in my mind as much as I can. Osama, it suppresses
Yeah.
me from having those desires. That's going to make me selfish, really, and just take time away from my family, my close friends, and the people I actually have to help. So, just being grounded constantly, like having that mentality, that focus, like as if I'm a boxer, just like sparring with life, knowing that if I just take 1 second off, if I just like look the other way, I get knocked out. I cannot have that, right? So being
Yeah.
grounded, Osama, keeps me focused on the goal, which is to really just serve. That's my purpose, right? And
I love
I
that.
think for most people, we feel as if we have to serve here and there. It's like we serve for two
Hmm.
minutes and then we enjoy for 25 hours. And then we serve for another 2 minutes, we
Yeah.
enjoy for another 25 hours, right? And that was life for a lot of people. Can't blame them, can't knock them for that. But
Yeah.
as you know, like you just said, the world changed last year. And it seems as if this new model of just being inside 3 months at a time, going outside for 3 months at a time, and just going back is the new way of life. So that those days of really enjoying yourself for as long as you want on a Friday night,
Hmm.
the whole weekend with your friends, going out, doing this and that, that's pretty much over. That's over for another 5 years. So it's like you really
That's
got to figure
jokes.
out how to take that. You just got to figure out how to take that time where you spent just enjoying yourself and really have to convert that into serving others, yourself, and mostly what you believe in. And if the easier it is to do that, and the quicker you're able to do that, the more easier you're able to adjust to what's going on. Because most people, like you just said, they're just complaining because they want to feel satisfied. And Osama, let me ask you this:
Yeah. Shoot.
how are you able to satisfy yourself in 2021? What you're used
Oh,
to
beautiful
before
question.
is non-existent. Pretty much, it's almost non-existent.
So it's actually a beautiful question. Like, and there's multiple ways to, bro. Let me say one thing. This is gonna be off topic. Remember that time when we first? If he goes back to our older videos, I asked Muhammad a question in one of our power videos, and this guy got me back.
Oh,
And then, so like, it's hard because right now, again, so like we're not because obviously we were too rushing filming, but again, there's just I'll get back to the story and I'll write it down the road. But
yeah.
you asked me the
You asked me a
question
question in the
of
episode, which threw me off. So I'm like, I gotta get him back. So Howard, the power episode, that's what I got you back.
oh yeah, I remember now. I was gonna say, yeah, to answer your question, how do I stay satisfied in 2021 as opposed to other years? Here's my thing, bro. Let me ask. Let's go around it the other way,
Okay.
right? So there's a big difference between being satisfied and being grateful.
Mm,
I am grateful for every single thing that happens in my life. I know as you are, even for the bad and the good, because a lot of the times we don't know if the bad could have been worse, right? So we'll use the biggest example, right? Friendships, pretty common example everybody can relate with.
yeah.
Sometimes when you lose a friend, right? There's these cliches things, these cliche quotes. These cliche quotes, if you go back to Validity of Cliches, episode 14 with Olivia, powerful episode. I don't know why we call them cliche anymore because they're actually legitimate. Sometimes God, if you're a religious person, if you believe in a higher source of power,
Hmm.
God heard something that someone said and does not want to be with that person no more, right?
Yeah.
So you should be grateful for that fact, right? But satisfied, here's the thing, it's a 50-50. You should be satisfied with with some stuff and never don't be comfortable though. Don't be comfortable. Don't let your satisfaction make you comfortable, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Just because you get like 10,000 subscribers, don't be satisfied. Be happy. Thank God. Move on to the next round because that's the one thing I think the one thing that led us back within. Like, if you want to go, by the way, we're almost hitting our 3-year anniversary. So at this point we've been doing it for a
Long
long
time.
time. And yeah, so I don't think you should ever be satisfied, dude. Like I feel like satisfaction should last 1 minute.
Mm.
That's it. 1 minute. Why should it last a whole? Because bro, let me ask you this. You've seen it. You've seen people get so satisfied it made them
Hmm.
comfortable. Then they don't know where to go no more. It's like, oh yeah, 10,000 subs, amazing. 1,000 views, that's amazing, right? Because you think to yourself, 1,000 views is gonna get you somewhere. But well, if you stayed consistent, if you stayed disciplined, that could have been 2,000, that could have been 10,000 down the road. But the problem is with life, with people being satisfied, is no one has patience anymore. People just want it now, so their satisfaction ends up being a, a false reality of their own imagination.
I agree.
So they're living in a world where they believe is no, sorry, they're living in a world that they created in their mind so they can stay satisfied because they disapprove of what's happening currently. But if you disapprove of what's happening currently, that's your chance to go change it. So to answer your question, I think it's harder to say is satisfied. That depends on the person. Like I can't answer for yourself. I can answer the same question to you. I want to hear what you want to say. But for me, you can be satisfied to an extent, but don't let it get you comfortable.
No, I totally agree with what you just said. Yeah. To be satisfied, like you said, it's a beauty and a curse overall. And just the way people, I don't know, I guess they just like embrace it really. And like you said, it's the
Yeah.
opposite. Like, do never get comfortable. Never get comfortable. My cousin told me this 2 years ago. I remember he sat me down and he's like, Mo, let me tell you something. Never ever get comfortable. Never ever ever get
So what
comfortable.
was, if you don't mind me asking, what was the context of a situation?
So pretty much I was 23 at the time, and even though I was doing a lot of things, he felt not he felt he's right because obviously he's way older and he's went through experiences and things that I haven't seen. He knew
Yes.
that I wasn't working at the capacity that I should be. With even with everything I
Uh-huh.
was going on doing at the time, he still felt as if not still felt he knew that I wasn't working 100% of my total capacity, and he told me,
Yes.
"This is who you are. You have something special. You must utilize it before it's too late." Very simple. And obviously, there's certain things I might say you might not agree with, or you might think you might just ignore it, obviously because you're young and all that stuff, whatever, right? But if you're smart, you're gonna take
Yes.
heed to the things I'm saying because I went through the exact same thing as you, and seeing
Mm-hmm.
you at your age, and seeing myself now with the things I've been through, having kids, relationships, and all these different things. If I was to go back in time, knowing what I know now, one thing I would tell myself, which I'm telling you, because I see you in me, is to never, ever, ever get comfortable. Because as soon as you get comfortable, that is when you lose. You lose sight.
And
You
that's
lose
the beautiful
sight
part.
of what the ambition, goal, and just overall vision that you have in your mind. As soon as you get comfortable, sound like you just said, 1 second, it just decreases. It goes from 100% to 98% to 95%. Like all these different things, friends going out doing stupid stuff, it like detracts 10%. I don't know, just like relationships that's like very abusive or just very chaotic environments. Another like 20%. Like all these different things detracts from your overall ambitious nature and just primal element of just going after what you need in life. So that's why he told me never ever get comfortable. And by like you said, what makes me disciplined is being grounded. So all these advice and just wisdom that I've learned from different people like yourself and him, just having that embedded in my
Yeah.
head 100%. Because if I let go of that, I will get comfortable like Osama. So therefore, I will forget. So I can't let that happen, regardless.
You know, you know, it's like I love how you pieced that together and it came right around because before we get I guess before we get along and talk about give you guys our advice of how to like tackle 2021, I want to give a piece of advice because one of our people because you were talking about if your cousin were to go back in time and like give the advice that he would give to him older younger self. So I remember we made an episode about that. Forget what episode it was though. It was if you were able to go back to your younger self, what
Yep.
would you say? Oh, would you change your life? Sorry, would you change your life? Right. And if you go back to that episode, right? So if you were to go back, I'm gonna give you the best example. If you go back to 2020, right, to now, this 1 year from 1 year ago, basically coronavirus was still here. 1 year ago, when it first started. What would you? Well, in knowing all the information you have right now, you're gonna go back and restart 2020. Are you gonna live the same life, or are you gonna complain? Because if you go back from business 101 basics, you have strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats, right? Obviously coronavirus is a threat and it's something that's out of our control, but we can't control it. So what's your loophole around it? And when I go on Twitter, because obviously let me be honest with you, I haven't been on Twitter in so long. So when I was talking to Muhammad, I'm like, yo, I believe a great way to interact with a lot of fans. That's why if you go on our Instagram account now, you see a lot of people who are hitting us up, giving us feedback, and I'm posting it. So I want to show love to everybody that does do that. But the one thing I've realized is people are still complaining about 2020. Why is 2020 this? Why is 2020 that? Oh, 2020 this. Like, we lost so many people. Okay, I understand. Like, yes, it was a crappy year, but if you only focus on that crappy year, what do you understand what you're doing? You're just causing yourself to be more depressed because that's all you're constantly thinking about. But unlike me and Muhammad, what people don't realize, we started our first episode dropped June 1st. No, May 29th.
Yep.
May 29th. Dropped May 29th. And we were able to drop 47 episodes. Guys, taking this 52 weeks in a year. So had we started earlier, we probably could have started more. But we managed to drop almost a year worth of episodes way less than a year. Way less than a year.
Mhm.
Way less than a year. It's your mindset. The point I'm trying to get to is I was watching a video by Robert Kiyosaki, who's the
Rich Dad,
author
Poor
of
Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. Right now, actually, by the way, I don't have the book. I have the other book, Think and Grow Rich, which I'm gonna finish reading. But I was gonna say, he said I was watching one of his videos, and he made me think, right? Because obviously it's different when you're watching someone who's at a much more higher pedestal and
Mhm.
he's worked his way up. And there's a lot of videos, but this specific one that really captured my attention was like a lot of people don't become successful because their mindset hasn't changed yet. They haven't went through something drastic that's really caught them through an eye. A lot of people have great admiration. They tell you what they want to do. They go show off their friends, but that's not success because you're not doing it for yourself at this point. But I remember he was saying is like a lot of people, their mindset has not changed, right? Your mindset has to change for 2021 going forward. Don't say, oh, bro, you know what's so funny? People make it sound like they have a contract with their goals. 2021 is done. 2022 New Year's resolution. No, make it. I remember you asked me a question last year on my birthday. I think, or after my birthday, by a couple of days last year. You're like, so what's your goal for like 26? Which I'm obviously turning a couple of days, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I'm like, I told you, I don't look at my life anymore as every year. I look at my life in the next 10 years because one year passed by so fast, bro. It passed by fast. Time is an essence, people. New year, new me. You should start working on your time, your organization skills, being more disciplined, being more consistent. Don't waste your time on stupid stuff. Muhammad just said his cousin gave him the best advice. Don't be comfortable. Don't always chill with your friends. Don't always make yourself elevate. If you're always chilling with, I remember like when I was chilling with Moba, this is probably a month ago now. Even though he asked me to chill yesterday, I'm like, nah, bro, I gotta do some work. But off 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 the record, I told him, listen, bro, I remember I asked him, I'm like, what's more important to you, Moba or your friends? He was like, Moba. I'm like, well, you answered your own question. So for me, in Muhammad, I'm like, selfishly, I want to see Muhammad because I want to work on weight. It's harder sometimes over the phone to work with your business partner, with your buddy, because you want to plan things, but you still got to get it done. My advice is, I don't care what your vision plan is. If it's in your heart, if it's on a paper, I don't care how you process your stuff. From now on, stop saying this. To me, New Year's resolution is the dumbest thing. I always spoke about it before in the power episode, but to me, it's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, yeah. Fun fact, Rich Dad Poor Dad was the first business book that I read. Um, yeah,
Really?
My friend David, it's Latino. I forgot to say his last name. Sagaderia. I'm sorry, David, if I messed up your last name, but he gave me that book when I was 17 or 18. That was the first book.
You just butchered
Definitely, I
his name,
definitely.
bro.
It's Sagaderia. I know he's from Colombia. I think he's from. Man, I'm just yeah.
You know how bad this is if he hears this,
David,
bro. I'm not
yeah,
from
David,
Colombia.
forgive me, bro. But how's the family? But yeah, so like we were saying, I told you what you just said. New Year's resolution is definitely, man. You said people shouldn't make contracts with their goals, right?
No, yeah, because basically, just to reiterate, so you can speak on my point. I said people act as if they have a contract with their goals every year and they
Mm,
expire.
that's a very interesting take.
I don't know. So think about it. Think about it yourself.
No, I realize obviously, and just even relating to myself, like we've done the same thing before in the past, growing up, and it's like, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm gonna do bigger things, better things. 2 days goes by, the exact same person you were before, the year before. And the funny thing is, like, we've done more work in COVID than we did outside when the world's actually normal. And to be honest, that's just,
And
I'd like
that's so
everything you were
true.
saying before, just taking advantage of the moment and not staying comfortable in your element. Because, man, when you're comfortable, you don't know how much you let time go by, right? You do not realize how much things you let go to
Oh
waste.
my God, yeah.
So, obviously, when things are taken away from you, you're stripped from things that you're used to, whether it's privilege or rights or just things that that normally goes by in your daily life. You wake up, and obviously, we did wake up. And the fact that, yeah, we're able
Yeah.
to pump out 47 episodes within 6 months out of the year, it just shows how much we really want to make a difference. Not for you, the audience itself, but for the brand Ways. Why? Because the nature, the nature and just the stereotype and the mindset and what people perceived Ways to be was one thing. Me and Osama wanted to change that. So that's why we just came so hard with those 47 episodes and with such a force, just to let you know what you thought of before maybe was correct, but this is Ways now. And what we're going to be doing going forward will only be shown through time with action, results, and just outstanding visions from two different, but at the same time, mutual minded individuals. So I think that's why it works out so well.
You know, it's funny because I posted a quote on our page. If you guys haven't followed our account, go follow it. Waves
Follow.
3.0 on Instagram. I yeah, you better, bro. People stop lacking, bro. And I said basically because if you haven't realized, you have a new theme. I think it looks much more cleaner now. But anyways, the quote says, "If you want to be successful in life, you gotta change your mindset. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you
Mm.
are. So if you're a lazy person, all you're gonna get is laziness. If you change your mindset, as Muhammad is. And I'm bro, you know the thing is, what people don't understand, dude, is the small things do count. Like I really get frustrated with a lot of with people when you tell me 7:30 and you're there 9. My time is valuable, bro. Don't mess with my freaking time. I could have done something within an hour and a half. And if you are going to be late, let me know. There's a lot of things you have to work on yourself. People, the reason why a lot of people don't get successful is because the small things haven't been completed yet.
Hmm.
And a lot. Another thing is, I've always said this. I've always said this, and I could say, I don't care if it pisses off people. People who show off, people who want to be rich, they're following money. I'm not. I don't think I'm following money because money's a tangible asset that can come and go whenever you want it. I'm following a legacy. I want to leave a legacy. If you look at all the people you look at, like Robert Kiyosaki, you look at Gary Vee, you look at all these other entrepreneurs. They never follow. They even tell you don't follow money. They tell you have a goal and a dream in mind and focus on what you're trying to do because money comes with it regardless. And if you want to follow money, you can make money working at McDonald's, becoming a manager. You can be at Walmart, GM, and make $200,000 a year if that's what you want for money. You can legit do whatever you want to make money. You can go steal and make money. Money should never be the objective. I feel going forward for New Year, New Me. The one thing I'm gonna say, I guess the first thing I would say is stop looking at the past. You gotta stop looking at the past is done. We're in Corona. You either complain, sit down, and wait. Cool. You do that, or you wake up, you start tackling your goals because, Joe, if we live like this for the next 5 years, you're just gonna wait until Corona's done. What if it's never done? Number two,
Yeah.
hello. Why are you? What the
I'm
hell are you
trying
guys giggling?
to join. Hold on, just keep talking. Let me join.
Anyways, that was weird, boys and girls. Number two, I would say is have faith with what you're going to do. Yes, it's harder to see what you're going to do, but you need faith in terms of substance of hope, faith, because without those two, it's going to be a lot harder to achieve what you want to achieve, right?